Good morning, everyone. Morning. All here at the back. Are you guys feeling energized? Yes. I'm not particularly convinced. But don't worry, our Girleada facilitating director is going to come up and then we're going to start with an energizer / icebreaker. You know, to get your spirits up, you know, to get you ready for the session. Are you guys cool with that? Yes. Perfect. Let's welcome Ms. Girleada.
Make sure there's enough space for you so that you can keep on somewhere. Okay, before I start, because you'll be seeing me often right here, when I say Ayuba, you say Ayubanis. When I say Ayubanis, you say Ayuba. Be good? Ayuba. Let's start with the energizer. So we're going to have an energizer. It's called I Take the Ball. I am going to illustrate. I'm going to do something, and then you also follow me, right? I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to put it wherever I want. You can use the ball, of course. And then you follow the instructions thereafter. So you just shout as loud as you can, okay? Let's get started. I take the ball. I put it here.
I put it here.
I put it here.
I put it here.
I papata.
I papata.
I papata.
I papata.
I take the ball.
I take the ball.
I take the ball.
I take the ball.
I put it here.
I put it here.
I put it here.
I put it here.
I papata.
I papata.
I papata.
I papata.
I take the ball.
I take the ball.
I take the ball.
I take the ball.
I put it here.
I put it here.
I put it here.
I put it here.
I papata.
I papata.
Thank you. You're welcome. We will have the introductions by Miss Papaya. Oh, thank you.
I hope we're all feeling energized after that. Yes. Show me that energy. A little bit louder, please. Yes. Now that's the spirit. So good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Pato, and I'll be one of your facilitators this morning. I'm not alone, I'm with a number of facilitators, program coordinators, and also our founder. So as you can see, that's our team for today. If you guys need anything, if you guys want assistance with anything, any questions, you can come to each and every single one of us and we will see how best we can support you. Is that cool? Yeah. Perfect. Just some general admin for the day. Can you all please keep your phones on silent or maybe put them off so that we can just minimize disruptions to the session? Also, if you need to take a call, and particularly for our guests and the parents, please do kindly slip out, take the call so that we don't disrupt the session of the day. And lastly, if you want to access the bathrooms, please you come out of that door at the back, right? You turn right and you go straight. When you see a glass door that says stop only, the bathrooms are on your left. Is that clear with everyone? Yes. All right. So the agenda for the day is as follows. We're going to start off by hearing from two representatives who have supported us in our preparations for the day. This will be followed by a gender inequality speaker and a future news breaking session. We will then move into breakout. We will have a gender inequality workshop. And this will be followed by a debate and lastly, an advocacy workshop. We also ask that you please help us by filling out the feedback form it's really important for you guys to let us know what your experience of the session was, so we can make it a better experience for you next time. Are you guys cool with that?
Yes.
But don't worry, guys. I know there's a lot in our program. We will have breaks in between and some tea, so you won't be too exhausted. You guys got this, okay? So are you guys excited to get started?
Yes.
Give me a thumbs up if you're excited. I love that. Thank you, guys. Our first speaker for the day is Balesa. Balesa is a lawyer who is passionate about human rights and is currently working in project coordination and project management. She is an alumni of the Yali RLC 2018 and was in the civil leadership track. She has been a recipient of various awards and accolades, which includes being recognized as a change maker by Ashoka, as well as being honored as one of the 100 young Nelson Mandela of the future by Youth 24. Isn't that great, guys?
Yes.
Wow, we got the best for you. She has been recognized as a leader and a pioneer in the civil society space. And Balesa currently serves Secretary of the South Africa United States Alumni State. SALMAC. It is an organization comprised of young leaders with various US exchange programs, and it strives to continuously maintain, develop, and strengthen relationships between their alumni and their commitment to orient new and existing ventures across the borders with the aim to expand, transform their respective communities at large. SALMAC works in a variety of impactful ways, and they are the sponsor of the Gender Agenda, the reason why we are all here today. Can you please give Balesa a warm welcome?
Good morning, guys. How are you doing today? Come on. Good morning. How are you doing today? So as the introduction has said, my name is Balesa, and I'm part of an organization called SALMAC, and we are the sponsors for today. So I just wanted to ask you guys, how many of you guys have thought about going to America? How many of you guys know that there are opportunities for you guys to go there free of charge? So I'm here to tell you about some of the opportunities that we offer young people to go to America free of charge, guys. If you've ever dreamed about going to America, go to a Beyonce concert, you should be listening to me right now. So SALMAC, the organization I'm representing today, is a national alumni association for all US sponsored programs. So the US Embassy in America sponsors about 26 programs, and we are the association that looks after all those programs. So there are opportunities for you guys in high school to go to America. So there is a program called the Kennedy Youth Exchange and Study Program. So it's a program where teenagers in either grade 9 all the way to grade 11 have an opportunity to study for 1 year in America, all free of charge. Your only job is to submit a very good application and be selected to go. So what happens is you are hosted by an American family for up to a year. And what the embassy does is give that American host family an orientation about the different cultural backgrounds that all the people will be coming from. So we as South Africa have our own perks in terms of culture, and those things may be considered offensive when we go to America. So what the American embassy does is have a departure orientation where they prepare you about the different cultural exchanges, so you guys don't offend anyone when you go there, and you guys aren't offended by American culture. So if anybody wants to know more about this program, please find me at some point and I'll tell you more. So because the American school year is different from ours, it's usually from September to the next year, right? So what happens during the year is that we get to attend school in America. and you get to live with an American family. So you get to really immerse yourself in American culture. And I think it's important for you guys, especially young people, to immerse themselves in a different culture and expand their worldview. So if you stay in South Africa, you're never going to know more than South Africa. But if you see the world, you're going to get to experience different cultures and grow, guys. So once you grow like that, you guys open yourself up to a world of opportunities, especially around the world. So when you're thinking of opportunities, never just think of South Africa, think of the world, because there are many opportunities offered to you guys, and most of them are free of charge, guys. They do everything for you, from the visa to giving you pocket money for the year when you're in America. They pay for your medical aid. Anything that you can think of is covered by the program. All you have to do is to do well in school, guys. All you have to do is attend American school and pass. Immerse yourself in the culture, learn. And it's your job when you come back as well to teach others about American culture. So there are many opportunities like that for you guys. And if that is not for you, and you think it's a bit too soon for you guys to go to America, there are other opportunities such as attending a community college. So there are many opportunities. We are in charge. You guys don't have to do anything. All you have to do is bring yourself forward, your best self forward, and make sure that you shine the South African light, and you make sure others learn about South African culture. I'm sure you guys have seen many programs where Americans refer to an African country as Africa. That would be your opportunity to go to America and teach them about Africans. I think they have these very archaic mentalities about who Africans were, who Africans are. And by you guys going to America, you're representing us as Africans. So we expect you guys to bring your best foot forward and kind of shine the light about what amazing people you guys are in South Africa. So if you guys want to know more about the opportunities that exist for you guys, especially high school students, to go to America, you can find me. I'll be around, and I'm willing to share any information that you guys need as well. And I can also share information that I have from the US Embassy. You guys want to contact them about this opportunity. So this opportunity that what I'm speaking of in particular, it is closed for this year, but from about August in American fall, the opportunity opens for the next year, which is 2024 to 2025. Remember, you have to be either in grade 8 all the way to grade 11, and you have to be aged between 13 to 17 years old to be eligible, guys. So this is, imagine this, a year away from your parents. Being independent and learning to grow and actually budget your own money. How many of you guys know how to budget your own money? Do your parents give you money once a month? So guys, if you've never had this experience, this is an opportunity for you guys to get a close up at our life. And I think it's very important for you guys because you'll have grown immensely when you come back. And I think you'll have a lot to teach your fellow learners when you come back, because I think we like people back home training. So guys, please learn about the opportunities, expand your worldview, and please apply. It's free of charge. All you have to do is send an application. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. You know, guys, when we talk about the flag, she is the flag. Am I right? Yes. Yeah, girl, she really got us hooked up. Our next speaker is Gita Maredi, who boasts over 30 years of experience in education. 14 years ago, she spent as an fellow advisor for Johannesburg East. She holds multiple qualifications, including a Bachelor of Education focusing on special needs. She also studied psychology and sociology. Today, she is here as a representative of the Housing Department of Education and has really been a great support in ensuring that today happens. She is highly passionate about the growth and development of young people, and we can see as she's here today and organized for many of you guys to come. Can you please give Gita Maredi a warm welcome? Okay, my one. Thank you so much. Welcome, girls. You're so beautiful. Please give yourself a hand. And thank you for the organizers to invite our district and also our district, our schools. We are happy to be here. I don't know what to say, but I'm going to say to you, organizers, the girls have learned a lot about the topics that they're going to deal with today. If they can remember, in grade 10, we did self-awareness, self-esteem, you did power relations. In grade 11, and then you did self-awareness, self-esteem, power relations. In grade 11, for this term, you did goals, which are very important. And you also did relationships. And then you also did democracy and human rights in grade 10 last year and also in grade 11 this year. I'm happy that they have invited you so that now you can apply whatever knowledge as content that you have learned. Please make sure that you apply it thoroughly so that you can be able to understand where does this fit in. So that when you go back to your schools, you can be able to make robust debate with your friends, with your school, with your colleagues, and also with the boys, so that they can understand these issues and how to treat you. But girls, please, let us also respect the guys. We need to respect them also. Know that maybe today you're going to talk about them, but let us also respect them at the schools. And at the end of this, I want you to know how to critically analyze whatever that you're going to do. Evaluate. In that, it means you will be able to apply whatever that we have learned as you have agreed. And they have said that you never, and you said, yes, we have done that, we've done that. Please let us apply what we have learned so that we can put whatever content that we have learned into perspective. Thank you.
I am we are going to have another energizer. And this time around, we are going to spell the word coconut. Coconut. C-O-C-O-N-U-T. That's how we spell it, right? Yes. So we are going to spell the word coconut. Can you see what a bag? Bags are very tall. Are you? Okay, coming. You are still going to follow the lead, right? So when I say see, you are going to follow what I do. This smile is going to cause an inconvenience. You are going to sing, right? You can hear me. Yeah. Coconut. I am a coconut. I am a coconut. C. O. C. O. N. U. T. Some of you are getting it very wrong. I saw somebody. Let's start again. I am a coconut. I am a coconut. I am a coconut. I am a coconut. C. O. N. But you know this
C-O-O-U-C. Coconuts. C-O-O-U-C. Good morning, beautiful ladies. Very quiet. So quiet. Ladies, I read the room. Yes. Okay. Take this opportunity to introduce other speakers for this morning. I will be introducing the speaker Girleada, so I'm going to give you a little background about her. Girleada is a legal and development practitioner focusing on human rights protection, effective implementation of trade and investment law and policy, and peace building. She has worked with several multilaterals, the African Union, United Nations, and the Commonwealth, as well as the civil society organizations. It's Evictus, Change.org, CSC Fellowship, and Skilled Hub. She has further advised government entities, GIZ, your Stockholm International Water Institute, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation of South Africa, on inclusion and effective representation in developing programs and policies for youth, women, and other marginalized communities. Girleada holds a Bachelor of Commerce in Marketing and Law, and a Bachelor of Laws from the University of Witwatersrand. She is completing a Master's in International Law with the same institution. Girleada has approximately 7 years worth of experience working in the development sector from a grassroots to an international level. She has been granted several awards for the work that she does. Amongst these, the 50 Most Powerful Women in South Africa for 2022 by Mail and Guardian, 2022 Outstanding Youth Philanthropist in Gauteng Provincial Legislature, and 100 Most Influential Young Africans of 2021 by Avon's Media. Girleada has implemented projects advancing women empowerment under the Global Fund, Joint Gender Fund, Purposeful and Civictus Solidarity Fund, under her role as Program Director at CSC Fellowship and Skills Hub, which she co-founded. Girleada writes opinions in Mail and Guardian on public interest topics, human rights protection and legal development. She is a Chief Executive Officer for Conflict Check and a partner at RE4M Envoy. So ladies, we have a very powerful speaker who is here to take the stage. Can we please put our hands together and give her a warm and loving welcome. Girleada, please.
Thank you so much, Shabina. Let's see who has social media. Let's start there. So I'm going to start. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning.
Thank you so much to Girleada for the invitation. And good morning to everyone and the speakers that came before me. As you heard, my name is Karabo Bonyana, and I was tasked to speak about gender equality. But I think before even getting into that, it's always good hearing my bio read, by the way. But I think it was really important to start with that because identity plays a big part when it comes to gender equality. So who you are is a big part of this journey of starting to be either an activist or be getting into the gender equality space to speak on these important issues. And I want to start by sharing a bit of my journey to really get to this point and to end up, in the spaces that I've actually ended up in. Let's start by saying I'm not that old. I know the bio makes it seem like I'm really old, 25. Yeah, I'm only 25, and I started this journey at the age of 16. So I actually started at a young age. So I'm originally from Limpopo and raised by my great-grandmother, and then moved to Girleada, but raised by my great-grandmother because my mom had me at 17. So she had me, she's matric, babies, but yeah, she had me when she was in matric, and she needed to go back to school and finish. So then my great-grandmother's like, I will take care of her. And I guess growing up in Limpopo, then you are exposed to a lot of inequalities, especially economic and social inequalities. So where I'm from, it's definitely a village, and then you're exposed to things like underage drinking, teenage pregnancy. We even have this thing where I'm from where they say, if you as a young girl get out of this facility without having been pregnant, you're unlucky. So teenage pregnancy was such a big thing in the community, and even just underage drinking, so even not telling like underage people, and it's a norm. So now just being in that community, just the chances of then seeing your life beyond that becomes very small. I think coming to Gauteng, I'd say, was a blessing for me. And I came to Gauteng because my mom was studying the side, and when they did, they got better in terms of economic situation, then I moved to the side. But even then, coming to Gauteng, obviously, the city of gold, you're expecting the most, but at the same time, you still get here and you start seeing the inequalities that exist in a city that is meant to actually be, the city that gives everybody an opportunity to better their lives. So then you still see a lot of the things that are happening in society, and you're just wondering, but I thought this is supposed to be where, everything is better, but also looking back where I come from, where like we lived on grants. At the time, I think it was probably 800. So the whole month, 800 was what we relied on. So just then, those inequalities were like, it was very alarming for me. It was extremely alarming. And then got to high school, got into school leadership. I was like, okay, this is really great stuff. But then I think going through the school leadership, going through my own identity issues, it was almost like, okay, well, even am I good enough? Because when I came to side, I didn't know English, by the way. I used to go to school, sit in a class, can't hear anything, everybody, people laughing, like, okay, don't understand anything, because I came directly from a school where Bailey was the main language of communication. But I think then because of that, and I didn't know who I was in these sort of spaces, I had to know myself. Who is Karabo in these sort of spaces where I feel like I do not belong in? And identity was a big part of the journey of getting to where I was. I really needed to get to know myself. I really wanted to get to know myself. And I think Gauteng challenged me to do that. So then got to grade 10, and then I was like, okay, I really feel like there's something I need to be doing in society. But also I was very scared because I was like, okay, just a small girl, it's a short, put in the heels so I can go to this. So then what makes you think that you can change and walk into these spaces and, change the world? And that required me to, again, look back internally to be like, why not me? So why can it not be me who gets into these spaces, or even in my own community, to bring the change that I actually want to see? And again, another identity crisis. And going through that thing, it literally required me to sit with myself, to ask myself, who's Garabo? What does she like? What doesn't she like? What is she good at? Where can she actually improve? And those sort of questions really helped me get to know myself, but also know what kind of work I need to put in to be the kind of young woman that I actually want to be. And got to know myself. And thereafter, then I started getting into a lot more of the school-based stuff. So I was RCL, prefect, I was like the president, head girl. I was that at school, and that at least helped me to see the kind of leader that I wanted to be. And then after that, I got to varsity. And in varsity, I also still felt like I couldn't, because this is big, it's really big. And I come from a school where we don't have a field, we don't have a library, we don't have school lab, we don't have a lot, it's just classroom. And getting into that school, then you also wonder, who are you in sort of these spaces? So then when I got to varsity, then I started an organization, and that organization would be to help people who are migrating from other provinces to Gauteng. And that organization didn't work out actually, because money, people had commitment issues, but I'm so happy it didn't work out because I had to learn to then, I had to learn from that experience to be where I am today and start another organization, which is really great. So then when I started that organization and I was working in these communities, I think just being exposed to the things that are going on in this country was painful. To be like the issues with gender inequality, gender inequity, just the racial issues in this country, everything is just like, there is no way I'm just going to be sitting and doing nothing about the things that are going on in this country. But also I then needed to find out what area, because there's so much in the development space that you can do with education, you can do women's rights, you can do climate change, you can do anything. But I then had to find what spaces are really good for me. And in order for me to do that, I had to volunteer. So I was tutoring at schools, I was attending charity events, I really exposed myself. And through that, then I knew that I wanted to do women's rights. And then I started applying for programs. So I came across a website called Opportunities for Africans. And when I came across that, by the way, my parents are not in any of the space. My mom's in marketing, my dad is in computer science, so they don't even know anything about any of the stuff. I mean, even the first time I traveled, I remember like, girl, you want to be kidnapped, you're not gonna support any of that. So I had to do a lot of convincing. And applying for programs, lots of programs, and I always applied for like fully funded programs. And when I got the first one, it was to go to South Korea. And when I went to South Korea, I also felt like a kick back development space. So imposter syndrome is the big thing where you're questioning whether you are good enough to do the spaces. Can you even talk? Do you have any valuable things to add to the spaces? But it took me being in those spaces and me shaking when I'm speaking, and when you go to the it took those sort of experiences for me to get here. Now I'm able to stand and speak and with confidence, because it took a lot of those sort of experiences. So then after South Korea, we got there, learned a lot of things, but also learned from other people. So that was another thing. I'm very open to learning from other people. by making sure that I share the experiences of my people back at home. That was also very important for me. And from that program, more programs came, Muslayali, nine. So did Yali as well, did quite a lot of programs. And from there, I make sure that every single space I find myself in, they know that there are issues that are not dealt with in these spaces. And they must also know as to why I deserve to be in this space. So you need to back yourself up more than anybody. Yes, you've written an application, you got it there, but who are you and what do we see you as when you get into these spaces? You need to give yourself a chance as well. You absolutely need to give yourself a chance. You need to understand that it is perfectly normal to get into a space and be like, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, and I'm not sure if I deserve to be in spaces. But you're there. So make the most of it and make sure that they understand if you're there for a specific, purpose or mission and you want to communicate something, make sure they know that. And I always make sure that I'm not the most outspoken person in the room, but when I speak, you will know and you will know what I'm saying. And the point will be made to be like, yes, I'm in these international spaces, but African voices are not here. Women are not here. A lot of the times I find myself in the only woman, only person of color, only young person, and that was allowed, make sure that they grow. It's a problem that I'm the only people there. I even had this thing of like, I do not want to be the only person who looks like me in these spaces. We need to have more people. It is actually nice walking to a room and you see somebody, you're like, you can actually relate to that person, as opposed to you carrying the struggle to represent a large group of people who have voices, who could be in there and we all just be speaking the same thing and representing a specific narrative. So then I think after varsity, I studied law, tried the legal practice thing, but there was a bigger call for me to do something else than just to be a lawyer. And that was to do a lot of the gender equality work, because there's a lot going on in society, not just globally, but in our country alone, in our communities alone. So then I took it upon myself to study. So another thing is knowledge. Knowledge is so important in these spaces. You need to know what you're talking about. Yes, you can go into the space and be like, women are not being treated fairly, but a lot of the times it helps you when you know what you're talking about. To be like, you guys said you're going to, deal with period poverty and those on top of that stuff. Where's the budget? Where's the policies around that? Who is responsible for implementing those things? You need to know the technical stuff around it. And I think the best way to do it is be aware of what's going on around you. Be aware of, even if things don't affect you, that's another thing about a gender equality activist. It doesn't have to affect you for you to actually stand up and be like, things need to be better. Things need to be better. You need to often remove yourself from it to be like, we need better things in society. We need, so just like the GBV things, GBV issues that exist in this country, you don't have to be a victim to stand up against such things. I think being a woman and women in the most inclusive way, you ought to understand that such an issue is wrong and it shouldn't be happening in our society. And some people just don't have the voice to speak out against such things. You may have that opportunity and you do that. You should absolutely do that. And equally be an ally for things that you probably know nothing about. Learn from people who are in spaces as well. So I think when it comes to, so basically my journey was the volunteering, the applying for programs, and getting into spaces and making sure that my presence felt and being seen, and a lot of that stuff led to a whole lot of opportunities. So networking, speaking to people, making sure you get to know people as well, making sure that you show up. And that was extremely important. But when it comes to, I think, gender equality, I think it's important for you to define what gender equality means for you. And move away from describing what gender equality is, but what it really means for you as a person. And it could be very personal to be like, gender equality just means me having a voice. Could be that simple. And because for me, gender equality just means having the ability to bring other sisters with me at this point. Tomorrow could change, but at this point, for me, it is bringing other sisters with me along and sharing whatever it is that I have. That's another thing. You need to bring other people with you. Yes, you could be the only one who have the knowledge, you could have the privilege to access spaces, but it really doesn't help the bigger mission of achieving gender equality. You have to share the information. You have to, if you have the knowledge, teach people, share all these things. Even with the program that I spoke about, if it stops here, it's a problem. There are other people who are not here that could benefit from it. Share it. Yes, it's competition, but competition is good. So impart knowledge, but also more than anything, do the internal work. I think that's the essence of what I wanted to make sure that I actually do sharing. Do the internal work, get to know yourself, and it's okay for you to still need to work on confidence, self-esteem, to have those doubts. That is normal. But now you need to put in the work, and you need to get to a point where you understand that you are deserving to be in these spaces. And we need you guys. We absolutely need you guys in these spaces. And we need to speak up. Because we are the best people to represent our issues. Nobody else. Nobody else. I attended a conference yesterday, and there was, and to the brothers, but there was a man who was speaking on period poverty. Did the entire presentation on period poverty. I have a problem with that. It's like my own personal problem that a man had to present on the period poverty issue. Whereas there's so many of us with voices who could actually speak about why period poverty is such a big issue for a lot of us in this country. So equally, make sure that you understand what's going on in this country. Period poverty, gender-based violence, human trafficking. There's so many issues that are going on that affect, the gender equality aspects of this country and just globally. And I think just being here for you guys is a big step. I'd say it's such a big step, and I really can't wait to see you guys in the spaces and welcome you in the spaces. And I mean, I'll definitely continue my relationship with them to share all the stuff that I have to make sure that you guys know, how to get into these spaces, what to do. And that's the only way, because we need to make sure that, like I said, bringing my sisters with me to wherever it is. I reached the point where I don't need to do the entering. I'm in the spaces, but what do I do with that? And it's important to get you guys in these sort of spaces. There's a lot going on. There's absolutely a lot going on. And what is crucial is you understand that you deserve to be in spaces that need you. And why not you? Why not you? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Karamo. It was so inspiring. I'm sure all the girls in this room are feeling inspired at this point in time. We're going to do a fun activity, but first I need you to answer 2 questions in mind. So firstly, who likes writing letters? Anyone likes writing letters? Any letter? A letter, any